had two of these stoves. One I use out back, the other one I used in the RV, but it was like 2 foot long, 1 foot wide, 5 inches high, and weighed close to 20 pounds. So to cut down weight and size, I decided to make one. And the reason that I didn't buy one is I bought this junky one here at Lowe's, and even though it was only 3 pounds and less than a square foot, I tried cooking on it, and basically it dried up the food instead of cooked it. So I went after a higher heat. This is the burner that came out of that stove. This is 17,500 BTU, and trust me, it will cook. It'll cook like a restaurant stove. So I needed to find a way to use this burner, which is out of my stove that I like, the heavy duty one. So I bought all this aluminum and decided that I would try to make one. So after cutting all this aluminum down, this was a square foot of aluminum. This was 6 foot of 1 inch angle aluminum. These were 12 by 6, now they're 12 by 4. There's 4 of those. This is where the valve comes out for the knob. This is where the gas line, well, I can't show you that yet. That's where the gas line comes out. Those are the legs. These are all the bolts that hold it together. I could have riveted it, but I wanted it heavy duty. All this is stainless steel, so it won't rust. This is aluminum itself. The only problem I had was finding a way to connect gas to it. So I just bought these different copper pieces and soldered them together. And this is where it goes in. And it just so happened to be, can't remember exactly now, I think it was 11/64. Anyhow, that's hole I drilled in that copper fits over there. Then this bracket goes on here and holds the pipe to it so propane don't leak out. So I'll show you after it's put together. Hole, which is I think 7 inches. To get a hole saw that big would have been super expensive. Harbor Freight, I think this was like $8, adjustable, so you can set this hole, you set it in the center and slide this out, and that's how I cut that hole. Partway into assembly, all these corners are mitered, which wasn't that big of a deal because you can cut aluminum on regular wood tools. So being familiar with the wood tools is no big deal doing the aluminum. So they all come up pretty good. Tolerances are so tight on where the top bolts come in and where the sides go in that I actually have to turn the bolts so that the flat part of the nut, so that the flat part of the nut sits against the side, because if the point of the nut was facing the other way, the side would not fit in. With all the bolts in, you can see that I had to figure out where everyone went so neither of them would run into each other. These are staggered on the sides and stuff, but I forget how many. I think something like 51 bolts. Definitely overkill, but I wanted to stay together. I'll explain this mess in a second. This mess over here. These bolts are real long because I got to run to this store and go get some stainless steel ones. I didn't have any. So what this is this is the gas inlet. This is the hole in the side of the stove. The problem is this part moves, it pivots. So there was no way to keep that in line and not have gas leak out. So I split this piece of aluminum in two, and drew out that pattern of that nut. So when I slip this in here, slip that in there, and the pipe goes on that prong. Now this can't move because it's wedged in there and clamped down here. So that's how I solved that problem. Okay. This is my grate, also stainless steel. It's 9 inches in diameter. This is actually the bottom to some kind of weird Asian charcoal grill. But it worked out real good for me. But I was having a problem trying to figure out how to keep it down. I was going to buy eye bolts and cut the edges off so that I could slide this in, bolt it down. That didn't pan out very well. So I thought, well, I can use a U-bolt. All the U-bolts were way too big. Then I remembered these are cable clamps, aviation cable clamps. And it just so happens that a 8mm fits perfect. So all I do is take the bottom part of the wire hold down and put it over top of these holes. Then I grab my grate, lay my grate into position, drop the U-bolts down through, like so. And then go under and put the nuts on. So there it is, finished project. Knob on the front, gas inlet on the side, grate on the top. Yeah, I know it's way overbuilt, but I wanted something that's going to hold up for a long time, won't rust at all. My goal was 7.5 pounds. I hit 9.5 pounds. I could have cut a pound off if I would have riveted. And I was originally going to build my grate out of aluminum, but this works out better. It's stainless steel, so more heavy duty. So I overshot by 2 pounds. Took the regulator, which is a regular gas grill regulator, tore the end of it off, and put the small 1-pound propane tank, which these are refillable. I can refill these off my regular 20-gallon gas grill barbecue, so I never have to go buy a 1-pound tank and throw it in the landfill. And that's it.